You know, Australians can be a pretty ingenious bunch. From the Aboriginal didgeridoo and woomera to early settlers solving our isolation and communication issues with the overland telegraph and the first car radio. We have played our part with some game-changing inventions that you might be surprised to learn have come from the land down under. Like the black box flight recorder. It's a device that has helped make commercial air travel the world's safest form of travel. It was invented by Australian scientist Dr. David Warren, who lost his own father to an aircraft tragedy in 1934 when the Miss Hobart crashed into the Bass Strait. The device itself is virtually indestructible and records the final moments of a crashed plane's last flight. While it is a box, it's not actually black. Its bright orange colour is called International Orange, making it easier to find in crash site rubble. A black box is now installed on every commercial plane around the world, but it was in Australia that they were first made compulsory for all commercial flights. Australian doctor Mark Lidwell and physicist Edgar Booth developed the first artificial pacemaker in the 1920s. Now, millions of people worldwide rely on pacemakers to keep their hearts beating properly every single day. Artificial pacemakers send small electric charges into the heart to help it maintain a regular beat. And since the late 1960s, these have been implanted inside the body. The first of these was developed in Sydney by Lidwell and Booth. Lidwell used the invention in 1928 to revive a stillborn baby. Small pulses of electricity were sent through a needle directly into the child's heart. After 10 minutes, the equipment was switched off, the heart continued to beat, and the infant made a full recovery. In 1939, Australian scientist Howard Florey purified penicillin from a special strain of mould. The team demonstrated penicillin's ability to fight bacterial infection in mice and later humans. The antibiotic was mass-produced and used to aid victims of World War II. Penicillin has been used around the world, saving many lives through the combating of infection by common bacteria. Today, it is still widely used in combating infections. Plastic banknotes were developed in a combined effort by the Reserve Bank of Australia and the CSIRO in the 1980s. The first plastic banknote to be put into circulation was the Australian $10 note, released in 1988 to celebrate the bicentenary. In 1996, we became the first country to have a complete set of plastic currency. Traditionally, banknotes are made from paper cloth fibres or a combination of both. Our banknotes are made from a special polymer.
It's no ordinary note, however. It's Australia's new Polymer $10 note, and it was developed and printed right here. It uses microprinting and other security features that make it much harder to counterfeit than paper notes. So when you get one, you'll be holding one of the world's most advanced and secure notes.
They also last about 10 times longer than traditional banknotes. Today, more than 50 countries use the polymer notes, including the UK, New Zealand, and Canada. Professor Graham Clark invented the first bionic ear at Melbourne University in the 1970s. The first prototype was implanted in a person in 1978. Cochlear implants are devices that are implanted into the head to electronically stimulate the auditory nerve. Graham's motivation to advance hearing loss technology was spawned from his own father's inadequate hearing. So far, the cochlear implant has brought hearing to more than 180,000 deaf people around the world, including the 2024 Miss South Africa winner, Mia LaRue. The electric drill. DIY enthusiasts can thank an Aussie for this indispensable piece of equipment. In 1889, Australian electrical engineer Arthur James Arnaud patented the world's first electric drill with his colleague William Brain. The invention was originally designed to drill rock and dig coal, and although it was a long way from the portable hand drills that we use throughout the world today, the underlying technology was the same. Australia is well known for having the highest skin cancer rates in the world due to our harsh summers and a depleted ozone layer. It's a good thing then that Aussie chemist Milton Blake formulated a UV-filtered sunscreen in 1932 that helps to protect us from the sun's harsh rays. Using a kerosene heater, he cooked batches of what was called sunburn vanishing cream, scented with French perfume, claiming that you could then sunbathe in comfort and tan with ease. Now, comparing this to modern day standards, this cream would have an SPF value of 2. Having more electrical devices than outlets can be an issue, and that's where the 1972 invented power board comes in handy. Peter Talbot, who was working with the Cambrook Company, now known as the Breville Group, was the inventor that came up with this one. Sadly for Cambrook, they were in such a rush to get the product to market that they failed to register the patent for it and never received any royalties for what is now a product used in practically every house around the world. In 1979, Australia's Channel 7 introduced live television broadcasting from racing cars, allowing viewers to watch the race from the driver's perspective. It was first used at the 1979 Hardy-Ferodo 1000 in Bathurst.
It's advanced from 4th to 3rd, and Alan Grace, and here is our camera view in the Peter Williamson car in the small litre class. This is what it feels like in the opening corner and the first run to Mountain Straight. This is what it feels like, folks, in the first lap, with all this traffic coming over the top of the mountain. There's Peter Williamson.
And Racecam has become adapted to other sporting events now as well, including snow skiing, basketball, and cricket. Bill Lexon, an Australian yachtsman and marine architect, invented the winged keel, a nearly horizontal foil or wing at the base of a sailing boat keel. They're typically found now on high-performance sailing boats, but the winged keel made its debut in the 1983 America's Cup, on which Australia too became the first team in 132 years to beat the Americans, leading the Australian Prime Minister Bob Hawke at the time to have this to say.
I tell you what, any boss who sacks anyone for not turning up today is a bum.
In 1992, John O'Sullivan and the CSIRO developed Wi-Fi technology used by more than 1 billion people today around the world. The core parts of the technology came out of the research in the mid-1970s in the field of radio astronomy, when John and his colleagues were originally looking for faint echoes of black holes. As a result of this work, the CSIRO has held key patents for Wi-Fi technology since the mid-1990s, bringing the organisation over $450 million in royalties to this date. Ever wondered how they can clear the water off playing fields so quickly and get on with the show after a rain delay? We have Australia's Gordon Withnell to thank for the invention of the Super Sopper. At the age of 80 years old, and after his golf ball landed in a puddle of water while he was playing a round of golf in Sydney, he recognised the need for some means to collect surplus water from the grass at sport fields to allow the sports to continue more quickly and effectively after a shower of rain. His invention initially attached sponges to the rotating drum of a manual lawn roller, with perforations in the metal drum allowing the water to be collected inside an internal tank. The invention was first featured on the Australian TV show The Inventors in 1974, but it did not win the program. The dual flush toilet. Now, I had someone mention this to me the other day here in the US, and she was so impressed with these toilets in Australia that she had them put into her own house. Developed by staff at Australia's Coroma Company in 1980, the dual flush toilet is a water saver designed to use different amounts of water to dispose of different types of waste. And it's now used in other countries as well, such as Singapore, Sweden, and Israel. The dual flush toilet differs from siphon flush toilets in that it relies on gravity to remove waste from the toilet. The lack of siphoning also means that the toilet requires less water to operate. So due to this, the water line is considerably lower than in a siphon flush toilet. This also explains why American toilets have so much water in the bowl compared to what we have back home. In this video, we've explored just a few of the many Australian innovations that have had a profound impact on the world. Inventions that have improved our lives in countless ways and shown that there is a lot more to Australia than just sandy beaches and cute marsupials. Thanks for watching. I'd love to hear about your favourite Aussie invention in the comments. Maybe there's something else that I should have mentioned, or maybe you're an inventor yourself and you would like the world to know about something that you've just come up with. Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. I'll catch you next time on From Down Under to Down South. Hooroo, mateys.